The Frost Haven training facility sat on the tundra continent of Kel-Vurash, a world the coalition of allied species used to teach its brightest young officers one simple lesson. The universe does not care if you are ready for it. Instructor Vex Saller had run the Class 9 Blizzard survival drill for 11 cycles. 11 cycles of watching cadets from soft, temperate worlds crumble the moment the artificial storm hit -60 degrees. It was supposed to be humbling. It was supposed to remind them that comfort was a privilege, not a birthright. This cycle, 52 cadets had entered the frozen proving ground. 52 cadets were now failing, one by one, their vital signs flashing amber on Vex's monitor. "Pull them," said Commander Ithri, her 4 eyes narrowing at the readouts. "This is worse than last time." Vex almost agreed. Almost. Because there, at Coordinate 7 Mark II, one heat signature refused to drop. It belonged to Cadet Mara Voss. Human, 19 years old. Homeworld Earth. The storm inside the simulation dome was not gentle. Winds howled at 130 kilometers an hour. Ice crystals sliced sideways like glass shrapnel. The dome's atmosphere had been engineered specifically to punish soft bodies, to teach species from gentle worlds what real cold, real death, actually felt like. Most cadets from other systems saw that wall of white and felt something ancient inside them scream, "Wrong, wrong, this world wants to kill me." Mara Voss looked at the storm, tightened the straps on her pack, and muttered, "Okay, fine, let's dance." Vex watched her numbers. Heart rate elevated but steady. Core temperature dropping, but slower than physics should have allowed. The girl was humming. Some off-key tune from her homeworld, barely audible over the comm static. "She should be in shock," Ithri said, leaning closer to the display. Her species evolved on a world with active volcanism, 5 apex predator classes, and a magnetic field that occasionally fails. But this is Class 9. Nothing survives Class 9 without full thermal gear. "She has full thermal gear," Vex said slowly. "Standard issue. Same as everyone." "Then why is she still smiling?" On the monitor, Mara had reached the emergency shelter beacon, the checkpoint where cadets were supposed to collapse in relief, half-frozen, grateful for rescue. Instead, she knelt beside it, dug through her survival pack, and pulled out a ration bar. Then she keyed her comm, breathless but grinning through chattering teeth. "Instructor Saller question. Is there a reason nobody packed marshmallows for this? I found a heat vent under checkpoint 4. Could have had a whole campfire situation going. Real missed opportunity." The command center went silent. Ithri turned to Vex. Did she just complain about snacks? In a Class 9 storm? Vex didn't answer immediately. He was too busy staring at the wreckage behind Mara, the other 51 cadets, curled in emergency thermal pods, rescue drones descending to retrieve bodies that were, thankfully, still alive but utterly defeated. 51 had failed within the first 40 minutes. One human girl was building a fire pit under a checkpoint beacon, chatting about dessert. Word spread through the facility fast. By the time Mara emerged from the dome, cheeks red, ice crusted in her hair, still grinning like she'd just come back from a beach vacation, half the instructional staff had gathered to see her. "You do understand," said Commander Ithri, walking beside her as medics scanned her vitals, "that this drill has a 94% failure rate across all coalition species. 94%. And you spent the last 20 minutes of a Category 9 blizzard foraging." Mara shrugged, wrapping both hands around a cup of hot synth cocoa someone had handed her. "With respect, ma'am, this wasn't that bad. Back home we had a storm system called a nor'easter hit my hometown when I was 12. Power was out for 6 days. No heat. My grandma made us sleep in the living room around the fireplace, and honestly, she smiled at the memory. Best week of my childhood. We told stories, roasted stuff. It was kind of great. Your planet storms are considered great. Some of them." Mara took a sip of cocoa. "The other ones we just don't talk about." Ithri's 4 eyes blinked slowly, processing that Earth apparently had a hierarchy of catastrophic weather events. And this cadet had ranked hypothermic blizzard survival somewhere below great. That night, in the observation deck overlooking the frozen simulation dome, Vex reviewed the footage again. Not for the report. For himself. He watched Mara Voss walk into a wall of ice and wind that had broken cadets 3 times her species' recorded resilience threshold. He watched her not panic, not freeze, not even truly struggle. Just adapt, calculate, and, somewhere in the middle of a storm built to kill her, find a small, ridiculous joy in the challenge. He thought of his own homeworld, temperate, gentle, weather-regulated by orbital stations for 200 years. He thought of how his own species had built an entire civilization around avoiding discomfort. And he thought of humanity's file, the one every instructor kept memorized. A species born on a world that tried to kill them in 1,000 different ways, with cold, with fire, with beasts, with each other, and instead of breaking, they'd learned to make esmores over it. Ithri joined him at the window, watching the storm cycle down for the night. "You know what troubles me," she said quietly. "It's not that she survived. It's that she wasn't even trying to survive. She was just living, in the middle of something that should have killed her." Vex nodded slowly. "We built this drill to show cadets what fear feels like, to teach them respect for the void, for the cold, for everything out there that doesn't care if they live or die." "And her lesson?" "I don't think she learned one." He almost laughed. "I think she taught us one instead." Below them, in the quiet aftermath of the storm, 49 cadets slept in recovery pods, humbled by the drill exactly as intended. And in the mess hall, laughing with 2 exhausted classmates, Mara Voss was already lobbying the kitchen staff to add marshmallows to the emergency ration kits. "For morale," she insisted. "And also, honestly, they're just really good." Vex watched her through the window a moment longer. This small, stubborn, endlessly warm creature from a world built on disaster, and felt something shift quietly in his chest. Something between fear and awe and a strange, aching pride that wasn't even his to feel. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. Subscribe for more human stories from the stars.